The vision of better Americanism that sports broadcasting has given to me. By J. Andrew White. Radio broadcast, October 1924. I am often asked why I specialize in sports. The answer is, I don't. The Democratic Convention is a notable exception, and I good time myself occasionally by directing informal programs of the midnight frolic variety. But the descriptive broadcasting I do for the sport classics is of a distinctive character, and that makes these events linger longer in the minds of listeners. Incidentally, that goes two ways. The pleasantest recollections of radio I hold, too, center upon reporting athletic conflict, not so much because of enjoyment of the thrill of combat. I really don't get much pleasure out of viewing the events themselves. The work is hard and the concentration a terrific strain, but because of the sense that something has been accomplished when it's all over. It means a whole lot more than entertaining the public. Opinion is molded, and with it, character, and even spiritual betterment, along with the physical. Sounds funny to deal with sport broadcasting this way, but let me show you. This morning's mail, for instance, held two letters which particularly caught my attention. One bears the signature of a nationally known banker, and his message to me is that he used my fight description of the night before as an object lesson for his 12-year-old son, to impress upon him how in dealing with the public one must be uncompromisingly conscientious, and that this was an example of observance of the most rigid standards of impartiality and lack of prejudice. The other letter was written by the head of the greatest industrial enterprise in America. It is just a note of congratulation and approbation, but there is much to be read between the lines. Now, I don't know either of these men, probably never will meet them. But when an industrial giant who controls a billion-dollar business takes time out of a busy life to listen to my description of a sporting event and is impressed sufficiently by it to write me in complimentary vein, certainly it is a fair assumption that he will turn a sympathetic ear to any proposals for athletic recreation among his thousands of employees. And that is good for industry and humanity. As for the banker father who used the sport broadcasting to impress upon his son the principles of square dealing and integrity, that certainly needs no comment. See what I mean? I could multiply these examples 100 times. Entertainment, of course, is the primary object of tying up radio to sporting events, but it can be seen from these two instances that the thing goes much deeper. Never in the wildest flights of imagination could I have anticipated, at the inaugural of broadcasting, the tremendous power for good which radio has become in this field alone. My correspondence is filled with letters from old folks and those of gentle nature, a high percentage of them women, and there are many clergymen too. But the letters I like best are from the youngsters. I feel that I have done something when I arouse their enthusiasm over sports, for I am just old enough to have escaped the current conception of jazz, petting, and hip flasks as requisites to recreation, and young enough to appreciate the greater joys we found in the cultivation of athletic skill, and how the girls of my time shared these views with us, and found plenty of vent for their enthusiasms. Mature people enjoy a thrill. To younger ones, excitement is a necessity. And somehow, I can't get over the idea that those thrills which accompany a contest for athletic supremacy are the real ones after all. If radio awakens that idea, and I am instrumental in putting over the revival in interest, well, that is a big enough broadcasting mission for me.